It's Aggie football time, coming at you live from the Bar Top Banner headquarters in Cypress, Texas. This is the Gig 'em Guys with Josh Roach and Dustin Adler. Good afternoon and howdy, 12th Man fans. This is Josh and Dustin from the Gig 'em Guys from the Bar Top Banner studios and bar and grill and all the other fun stuff in Cypress, Texas.
Good to be here.
Yeah, it is. Welcome you all for episode number 3 of the Gig 'em Guys. It's been 3 episodes already.
It has.
Man, it's always a good time to get here. It is. It's one of those things where you look forward to it every week and just the hell with work, and this makes it better. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Slain Irish Whiskey. Yes, Slain Irish Whiskey. They've been taking care of us. Got our second bottle here, so everyone take a look at that. Make sure you grab one of those bottles at your local liquor store. It is a gold medal winner in Ireland, and since it's Irish whiskey and it wins in Ireland, they probably know what they're talking about. It's delicious. So. It's a 3-cask made. It is awesome. So go to your local liquor store. Make sure you get a bottle. Show it on all social media to let them know that you heard it from the Gig 'em Guys and are drinking enough for everybody. So Slain Irish Whiskey, check it out. Dustin, what a week.
Oh, that it has. It was a special little weekend. I think last weekend I think some people got to enjoy. Some fun colors running around on a football field.
It was a spring football game this weekend. It was bringing fans back into Kyle Field where they get to
25,000 plus.
Yeah, it was a pretty good showing for the spring game, and it was good to just see Aggie football back. There was some good things to see, some opportunities, and just getting ready for the new year just gets that excitement going. Everyone's ready.
Exactly. Even though we got 20-something weeks.
Yeah, it's still
a while.
It's still a long way away, but it just gets you ready.
That it does. Yeah.
One of the big things that we talked about was the quarterback situation, and we all jumped on the Hayes King bandwagon he was going to he was stand out and he was the true one.
Who didn't?
Yeah, who didn't? A spring game though, it's a little different than an actual game, just the rushing and stuff like that. But they were pretty damn even. I don't think anyone had any type of separation. And statistically, Calzada played better.
Yes.
With the 2s than Haynes did with the 1s.
I know that kind of makes you wonder right there, like what's going on with their starting O line. It kind of makes you wonder. Even though he was troubled, a decent amount at times. I mean, it was good to see. Hey, our secondary defensive line and secondary putting pressure, on the first O line. That was good to see. You got some depth there. So
I mean, I think
like that aspect of it.
It showed the defense could possibly have a chance when the offense was down, to help carry it this year.
Yeah.
The defense looked outstanding, and there's not much, safety. O'Neal Jr. That dude, he talks a lot of trash, but he played lights out in the spring game, and it was exciting to see. But it just we know the O line is basically starting from scratch.
Yeah, But just going back to King, even though when he had his times we had to scramble and such, if his first read was off, he did good looking back to the center of the field, looking in the middle and getting the ball down the field at those times. So he was making the right reads mentally. So he wasn't getting, flustered with that.
And I wouldn't expect anything less from Hayes King. Just a coach's son and the smart mentality and all those kind of things. I wouldn't expect anything less. But there were some drop passes here and there and different things, but still it just wasn't, I think we all just, even though we had said it, freshman, got to give him time. I think we all had him on a kind of a pedestal thinking that he was going to kind of go lights out and really show some separation. It just wasn't there in the spring game, in my opinion.
Yeah. That is to be expected. And he's a young man, like you said. So we're going to see some things happen. They still got several more weeks to practice, get together, and just continue just to learn Jimbo's ways, and really get settled in. So,
and the only thing that I'm not a big fan on these spring games is, that makes it non-realistic in going in. Obviously, there's rules and things, but we didn't utilize Spiller really, because we know he's established and what he's going to do, but a running back like that changes the game completely. And your mentality of how you're playing offense when you have someone like him behind the field. So I think that throws everything off too.
Yep. Yeah, that and just our dynamics with our tight ends that weren't there.
Yeah, none of the big tight ends were there.
Don't get me wrong. Max
46?
Right. or something like 42.
42 looks like a little bowling ball fullback.
Yeah.
He played well.
Laid some hat when he got the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he performed very well.
Yeah.
I think everything, as a whole, it was a good showing. A-Chain was running track, so he wasn't there, and Spiller didn't get a lot of love, a lot of pass protection, not so much handing the ball off. But I think there is still a lot to be decided in Aggie land on who's going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's some people missing, adding that dynamic to our team overall. So, but again, it's a spring game, and it's not full contact, full velocity.
Yeah.
It is to an extent, but not always. So it's a different mentality and kind of what they're going through. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference, but again, as we stated, it was exciting to see the defense looking really good. They put it in. The offense we kind of already knew about it, but with that quarterback, with both of them under 50% passing, you don't get a really great look at your receivers either. So some of those receivers didn't get as much, the stats you wanted to see. But if you weren't paying attention and if you didn't watch the game, you don't see why. You just see not really being up there. And minus that 53-yard reception to kind of end going towards the end. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of explosive plays either.
No, there wasn't. No, not really. Just good. There's some good executed plays, and then other plays that they just got to work on. So,
yeah, you were talking about being over the hump. We've got to continue to execute. We've got to find a way to catch the ball. We got to find the open man, and it's football. It's spring, so there's a long time to figure it out. But we know what our opportunities are now, and we've just got to rectify them.
Well, I'm going to reiterate and reemphasize, like I said last time, we are over the hump.
Okay,
I am claiming that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're very much over the hump in mentality and the thought process and just our systems. It's just execution, and spring ball is spring isn't a whole long practice. It isn't a whole lot going into it.
True.
And then you have this spring game that the media and fans kind of build up more than I think it is. But it's exciting to watch. It gets you ready for football before a long break, and I do believe we're over the hump. I think we have good things coming. It's just we as fans got to stay patient. The team's got to stay patient. Good things will come as long as we execute and don't make the mental errors, and we're just fundamentally sound. I think we'll be all right.
Yes. No, I agree.
But we're talking about fundamentally sound. There's always the term, the trap game, the different game. The SEC West is just a meat grinder of a conference. Any one of these teams could play in most conferences and at worst be in the top 25 all year round. So, we're talking about being focused, fundamentals. Is there a game on the schedule that worries you, that you see that could be possibly a trap game?
Yeah. It's a team that I've thought about, further back when I was in college, South Carolina Gamecocks.
They're due.
That's what I'm saying.
They're due a win. They haven't beat us since we've been in the SEC. So.
Yeah, but they are due one, and they got quite the running duo out there. What was his dang name? He led the SEC in rushing. Let me find his name for you.
That's some awful research. I have to fill our conversation now while you find this.
Kevin Harris.
Kevin Harris. Okay.
Yeah. So he led the SEC in rushing. So, and then there's a guy, Marshawn Lloyd, who's a really outstanding running back. And I think between the both of them, that they're looking at doing each over 1,000-yard rushing. So
that's scary.
That's a crazy projection. So, I mean, I know we lost Bobby Brown, just a big dude right in the middle. But we still got some good defensive ends, Liao. So always been excited about him since he's came on. So I think as long as we can just stop them at the line and just keep them in check with their rushing game, we'll be fine. We've always been concerned with their cornerbacks, but I think that's going to be a little different this year. So I'm not too worried about their throwing game on us. So that's really the only team that I'm kind of curious what could happen.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one, and that's not the real one I'm worried about. But I think the same thing, especially when you think of them and for me Arkansas. It's always kind of a close game, and we haven't
lots of overtimes.
Yeah, lots of overtimes, and they haven't beat us since we joined in 2012. So they're getting there's just that time where it's due. They should eventually win a game, so that always makes me nervous. But I think my trap game the game that scares me is November 13th. We got Ole Miss. We got the Lane Train. And it's terrifying. Their defense is atrocious. So they shouldn't stop us. We should do what we want to them at will. But their offense is outstanding. And the quarterback blew it up. Matt Carroll, man, he was a beast. 208 yards in the first half passing. Again, he's going against a horrible defense, so you can make that argument. Mm-hmm. But the thing that makes me extremely nervous about this game is this is 1 week after we play Auburn.
Yeah, it's going to be late in the season.
We're coming off a big team, a must-win game with probably a lot of, playoff big bowl game potential because I mean, at that point, our schedule lines up pretty good. We have Alabama before them. But then really you've got Alabama, then you've got Auburn, then these guys, and LSU later. But it just lines up where we should have a pretty damn good record, if not undefeated at that time, going into just a monster of a schedule, which really makes me nervous. But yes, their defense is horrible. Their offense is outstanding. That could be like a 63-50 something game.
Yeah, you got very good point. Yeah, I mean, with it being later in the season, you're always curious as long as everybody's being healthy. But I'm with you on that. We could be undefeated. We might just have that tough loss, where we always battle out with Alabama. That's just always been our one team. But and again, we're with a hump now.
Yeah, so. I mean, we are. But you always got to look at these trap games. And again, their offense has been great. And what does Lane Kiffin do being Lane Kiffin? He fires the offensive line coach because there's stuff he doesn't see when his team played outstanding.
Today?
Yeah, it was today or yesterday. Like this weekend, this guy was gone, and they performed excellent. So, like, he's getting ready. They've got the momentum. I think we need to give Al a call. Let's get him on this conversation, see what he thinks about a couple different things. For everyone that's going to be tuning in, we're calling Mr. Al Agner. This is our resident statistician.
Hello.
Al Agner, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Al.
Josh, Dustin, how we doing today, fellas?
Oh, we're here working, hardly working. I'm hardly laughing.
There you go.
So I'm the happy guy over here.
You're not at Papacito's this week?
No, not this week. Not on a Tuesday, man. It's our Thursday night gig.
All right. Well, I'm glad we called you tonight. Hey, man, we just talked about trap games that we could possibly see. Dustin went with South Carolina with their dynamic duo running backs, and just they haven't beat us yet, so it's getting to that time where they're just due a win.
Yeah.
I went with the November 13th game against Ole Miss because we're coming off an Auburn game, and their offense is outstanding.
Later in the season.
Both good ones, yeah.
And their quarterback, Matt Carroll, threw 208 first half against an atrocious defense, but Lane Kiffin he can be a scary guy, so that one was my trap game. What do you think a good possible trap game for the Ags this year is?
Well, I have one picked out, and I'm glad we're all picking different ones. Man, I'm going with Arkansas this year.
I swear, I think Arkansas every year is a trap game because they haven't beat us, and they play us so tight every time, and their coach is on the rise.
Well, I agree. Yeah, they do. We do play them tight every year, but this year more than anything, just because of what they were able to do last year. I mean, Sam Pittman seemed to have just come in and changed the culture over there. I mean, all these players must have just bought into what he's selling. Because, I mean, they improved, obviously, 3 games in the SEC, 3 wins in the SEC last year for them is a big improvement. But not only that, even in some close losses, I mean, they came within 3 points of beating LSU, lost to Auburn and Missouri by 2 points apiece. I mean, they were in a bunch of games last year, man. And I just, if they keep that thing going this year, then that might be a tough one for us.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, good point. I mean, we're always worried about our secondary. And I think Traylon Burks was their leading receiver in the SEC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a beast.
So you got to worry about him.
Yeah, I think it's
that's right.
And in the SEC, we're talking about it's a meat grinder. Everyone in this league, for the most part, especially the West, could go play in any other conference and do have a winning record, if not better, and be ranked. So every week, if you don't have your head on straight and ready to roll, it could be a trap game. You just never know.
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, so this week, we're going to stay on the offensive train of things. We're going to do, we're talking about our wideouts. We mentioned in the spring game, we didn't get a good look of really anything because it's a different format. Your running back didn't get a lot of love because we had some questionables with our quarterback. We wanted to watch them with some drops and just overall not the best play from the QBs. The wideouts. Favorite wideout. Al, who is your favorite A&M wideout ever?
Oh, favorite one ever?
ever.
Oh, oh man, that's a tough one, but I have to go with old Ryan Swope.
Old Swope. He is on my wall on the top left, Mr. Ryan
Oh,
Swope.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Love me some Swope.
He does hold some records.
Yeah,
he does.
Dustin, best receiver, your favorite ever?
Pretty easy for me, Mike Evans.
Evans.
I love him. Love that guy. I mean, what is it? Only 2 years there.
Yeah, he was only there 2 years.
So look at this, 2 years. Just going to give some stats. 2 years, he had 2,500 receiving yards, 24.99.
That's right.
That's
2
wild.
years.
Barely played football in high school.
Barely in high school.
Yeah.
He was just over 600 yards shy of Ryan Swope, who's the leader in receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, Mike,
it's just
he's a beast, and he's been a beast in the pros, so it just kind of shows.
Each year he played over 1,000 yards receiving. He actually holds the top 2 single game receiving yardage.
That's impressive.
And then going to the NFL, he's got
Doing
a
work.
ring now.
Doing work, yeah. He's not messing around.
Only guy in the NFL to start a career as a receiver and has 7 consecutive 1,000+ yard receiving games. Nobody else. So,
That's a stupid stat right there.
Yeah. I mean,
you're like you said, you're not on my level.
Yeah, he's in a different world. I mean, my guy, he's also on my wall. It's gonna be Josh Reynolds.
Ooh, yeah.
There you go.
I love Josh Reynolds, and he came in from JUCO and made an immediate change. You know, he holds the touchdowns in a season, 13.
Yep, he does. He's got that record.
He's tied for the second one with 12 his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
He averaged 17 yards a catch in his career at A&M. 17 yards a
That's
catch.
impressive.
And
in 3 years.
In 2016, he had the most most touchdowns and yards in the SEC. He had 12 touchdowns and over 1,000 yards receiving. I mean, the guy was incredible in his time. And again, if you know anything about me, I like the low key, not talking too much trash. I loved when he scored a touchdown and he would just give him the thumbs up or the little salute. Man, I'm a huge Josh Reynolds fan. He hasn't had the success that Mike has. He has been to a Super Bowl with the Rams. Didn't quite get it, but love me some Josh Reynolds.
I'm with you. Yeah. Well, and here's the funny thing: receiving touchdowns, he's number 2.
Yeah.
Behind Jeff Fuller.
Yeah, he was only.
He only played 3 seasons.
Yeah, and he's again. That's a class of wideouts. So Al, where do you think we're sitting with the receivers we got in that room right now? It seems like we say it and it's redundant and we keep repeating it, but there is a lot of talent in that receiver room.
Man, there's a lot of talent in this receiver class for sure. But there's a couple that stand out, and most of them are young guys. I mean, last year, we got hit with some injuries last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't see much from the young guys anyway. But the older guys, I mean, one guy that was on track to have a monster season was Caleb Chapman.
Yeah.
I mean, this cat, dude, played 3 games, had 14 catches for 197 yards and 3 touchdowns. And most of that came against number 4 Florida.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, he went 9 for 151 and 2 touchdowns.
He ate his Wheaties that day.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, this guy is good. He's a big dude, and he can just flat out run past you.
Yep.
And, I mean, I'm really hoping he can bounce back from this ACL injury quickly. I mean, I think he's on track. And, man, I think he's in line for a great year this year. But, last year it was mainly Anais Smith and Chase Lane that did the bulk of the work for us.
Yeah.
And, other than that, Hez Jones had a couple good games, made some good catches. Jalen Preston was there. But, they just weren't as consistent as we need them to be down stretch. And like I said, then you got the freshman that everybody wanted to see, Damon Demas.
Yeah.
And, he never got any playing time. And I don't know if it was because, Jimbo didn't feel comfortable with him knowing the playbook yet or what it was. But I mean, my gosh, that kid is a freaking nature. And if you throw that dude on the sideline and say, hey man, just run and catch the ball. I mean, he's going to run past everybody and be able to do it, and just run a post.
That's one of the things they were saying is that, Jimbo was a little concerned that he had an oversimplified offense in high school, and that's one of the big things. On a side note, do you know who was the coach of Chapman in high school?
No, I do not.
Mr. Aaron Troyer.
Get out of here. I did not realize that.
Yeah, he coached him in track when he was in high school. We were having that conversation on the phone the other day. I'm like, man, that's awesome. And he's just like, that kid could go. Inside,
I love it.
He's saying that the recovery is going pretty well, so hopefully he's ready to go at game time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him getting back out there. I'm hoping that him and Demas will line up on opposite sides and just kill everybody.
I mean that's an Alvin Harper, Michael Irvin Cowboys of the '90s on split sides right there, and then you have Anias running slot.
Exactly.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then Lane just cutting it up too. So no, I'm with you. Both of them being deep threats, Chapman and DeMoss, and then Anias. You don't know where the heck he's going to be, just confusing everybody.
That's right.
Just with and then with anybody else, Lane.
I'm really interested to see how Osmond slides back in as a receiver, because he opted out last year, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he back on the team for this year, or am I wrong with that, guys?
Josh, I don't know if I've heard that, man. I don't know if that's right or not. I hadn't heard anything about that.
I'm looking.
I guess he's technically got an extra year of eligibility, but man, after he walked out on the team like that, I don't know how he'd be welcome back.
Yeah, I'm looking it up as we speak.
I saw mixed things a while back, but
you saw what?
I saw mixed things about that a while back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had heard that, and again, I could be 100% wrong. You know me. I work in the restaurant industry, so what it's saying right now, and this is just the basis of what I'm checking on my research. He's 6'2", 209, and his current team is Texas A&M.
Well, if nobody else is going to say it, I'll say it. I hope he doesn't. I don't know how you walk out on your team like that and expect to get welcomed back in the locker room. That's just me.
Yeah, I think there's also a defensive player that is coming back, because I remember last year there was some players saying the same thing about a defensive player, and he apparently is coming back too. And my name escapes him. I should be better research for this, but I'm pretty sure we have a defensive player doing the same thing. So it's kind of I know it was a weird year, but I'm the same way. It's kind of hard to welcome someone back. I don't know if he'll play. I don't know what the thing is, but to my knowledge, that he is still he's still at A&M, and he's still on the football team.
If he did,
well, I'll be damned. Okay.
If he did, that would be kind of wild thing to see. Maybe Smith and him in the slots, and Chapman.
Well, he's going to have a lot of competition coming back in. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
he might have to earn his spot all over again.
Good point.
So I'm looking at another website now. It's saying that he was planning on entering the draft.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Entered the draft. So I mean, I'll do some more research. I could have swore that there was one of those seniors that you had Osmond. I can't remember who we even had 2 years ago because I slept since then. But there was a couple of those receivers, and one of them opted out and was going to come back. I could be 100% wrong on that.
You know what? It might have been. Was it Cameron Buckley?
Oh.
Because he was hurt a lot last year.
You know what? That might be what. God, you're so freaking smart, Al.
Yeah, it might have been him. He might have taken a medical red shirt. Now that I think about it,
and that might have been what it was.
I like old Cam. I like old Cam. He's a veteran for sure, and I know that dude can make some plays. So that was one guy I was hoping can bounce back from injury. So we'll see.
Who's
another guy that has been turning some heads in spring practice is old Moose Muhammad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping old Moose can pop in there and get him some playing time, man, because that dude's a stud too.
Yeah, he's a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, Chapman, was he a sophomore or freshman last year? Which one was he? Was he a second year?
Chapman was a sophomore. He'll be a junior this year.
Junior this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, does he get that red shirt because he didn't play 4 games?
Oh yeah, that's true. He would get a medical red shirt.
So he would. He might be our Jordan Shipley that plays for 30 years and gets to be an Aggie for a while.
Shit, I'm fine with that.
Who's going to be the one that is your breakout receiver this year? Someone that doesn't necessarily have to be the best receiver, but someone that's really going to jump out at people that they just quite didn't expect.
Ooh, that they didn't expect. Well, I was going to go Demas, but I think everybody's going to expect him to jump out. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I guess maybe Moose. I'd say Moose Muhammad. I think he's gonna, he's a young guy, and I think he's gonna force his way into some playing time this year. I mean, I think everybody expects Demas to come out and win a starting job, but we'll see. So yeah, I'll go with Ole Moose.
I think that's a heck of a choice. I am gonna go ahead and go with, it's not that he's gonna be a breakout. I'm gonna go with Chapman just because he didn't have a long season.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
I just think there'll be questions on him recovering from his injury, but also the question, he had all those yards in a few games, but 95% of it was against the Florida game. So I think people are going to wonder if it was a flash in the pan or is this how he plays? And I think if he comes back to even 95% what he is, I think he's going to be a breakout for the team, and he'll be number 2 or number 3. I think if Demas gets to play, he'll jump in that number 2 spot. But I mean, Smith is still the man. He's the one that's leading the receivers. But I think Chapman's going to have a great year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just really reaching out there with Chapman with you, but I mean, he's kind of got that deep ball threat. Well, he does have the deep ball threat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how Mike Evans was. Chapman's not as big a physical receiver as Evans, but I could see something like that happening with Chapman. Just when you got Anais and Demas and such, I could see him just coming in at the right times, getting the big yardage, big plays that happen. So that's what we saw.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited about this offense.
And then you got Watermeyer and Cup that could throw off with with our tight ends. I mean, it's just.
I can't wait to see both those guys on the field together.
And
we can wait to talk about that if you want.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think that's an. We don't even have to tell you who's going to be better. It's just, it's so crazy because you think about Watermeyer. He was the second. No one was even thinking about him. And
nope. No.
Oh yeah.
And people kept talking about the monster from Brock. And what can you really say about him? Like that's Watermeyer's job.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It's his team, and he's done so much. But it's exciting to see that maybe this young man actually gets to play. But yeah, it's crazy. What are you looking most forward to, Al? Last question for next season.
Looking most forward to, well, I'm looking real forward to going undefeated and getting in the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about. No, I mean, I'm looking forward to what Jimbo's building. I think he's on the right track. And I mean,
very much.
We've seen it. He's recruiting. He's doing all that. I mean, this is more than I dreamed of that he would be doing at this point in time. And so I'm excited for the future. I know that he's taking us the right direction. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we do this year. I think we've got a great team, and it's a young team. And we're gonna be good for years to come.
This is a good point. Very good point.
Yeah, I mean, A&M football is on the rise. It's a hot stock. Baum's been saying it for years. As I said in episode 1, we've got everything we need in College Station to be a national contender every year. And with Jimbo and hoping and praying, and we got him. And now he's as long as he keeps us consistent and focused and fundamentals, we're going to be at the top all the time. Just right there. It's just we just got to get that little extra to be like right there with Alabama. We can do it. It's just we got to figure out that formula.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's right.
Yep.
Hey, before I let y'all go, I want to bring up one more thing. Did y'all hear about the news today with Shadrach Banks, the true freshman receiver, entered the transfer portal?
I did. Yeah. Didn't even make it the 4-star. Didn't even make it the full semester.
Didn't even make it full semester. He just came in the spring. And Billy Lucci was talking about it, came in overweight. Did y'all already talk about this?
No, not at all.
Nope.
Oh, yeah. He came in like over 250 pounds.
Oh, Jesus.
A wide receiver.
Good.
Guys.
Well, see you later. Good riddance. Hasta luego, good friend.
And I mean, he was great in high school. There's no doubt about it. He was a great athlete. But everybody, the coaches came in, the veterans on the team came in and said, "Hey guys, you got to buy into this. You got to lose some weight. Maybe you need to change positions, something." And he wasn't having it. He just said, "Nah, I'll just go somewhere else if y'all don't want me." I mean, that's crazy, right?
That's silly.
That is silly. This transfer culture, I think, is killing the game, and that's a discussion for another day. But
I agree with you. That'll be next week's conversation. Again, this episode is presented by Slain Irish Whiskey. It is a delicious Irish whiskey out of, believe it or not, Ireland. Island. It is a gold medal winner. It has 3 casks. It's blended delightful. I'm drinking it right now. I'm getting a little bit of a buzz, so Kylie will be super happy with me. But please go out to your local liquor stores, buy a bottle of this, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram. Tell them you heard them from the Gig 'em guys. And Josh and Dustin and Al were telling you to go buy it, and you did it. So Slain Irish Whiskey, taking care of us, you take care of them. You know, Al, I think that's a great topic for next week is the and kind of take a break just from A&M specific, but talk about the portal and how it's changing the game.
Sounds good.
Yep. Well, yep, I like that.
Well, Al, I thank you for being here every week, man. It's fun to have you, and you enjoy hopefully a cold beer on the patio since you're not at the Papacitas tonight.
No, I'm doing it. Thank y'all for having me, man. We'll talk to y'all next week.
All right,
Thanks,
later,
Al.
bud.
All right, we'll see y'all.
Again, Al Agner out of Longview, Texas. Always a good guy to have in. Knows what he's talking about. He's fun, and man, I can't wait to go to some football with him.
Ooh, yes.
And you know, we'll go into it a little bit. The transfer portal. It's one of those things I won't go in too depth because we're going to talk about it. It's a love-hate. It's kind of hard not to agree with it a little bit because a coach can leave at any time. Anytime a coach can leave and go somewhere else.
This is true. Yeah.
And I think the portal is a good thing for certain reasons, but other reasons you can't just leave just because.
Yeah. I mean, there's the hindering part of, relationships, locker room. It's like this guy enters the portal. There's certain reasons, optimisms, like why did he, was it for good reasons or anything going on with his personality clashing with the locker room? So there's that concern, or it's just the depth, based off their position. But we can talk about that.
Yeah. Next week we'll talk about the transfer portal, and we'll just talk about the tight ends. We don't even need to talk about who's better, who's worse, who's the breakout. Just go over that.
No, I just wanted to share, something that I'm just going to put another big projection out there, what I'm excited to see.
Okay.
How you talked about Al. Going to really put out there on Anaya Smith. He's definitely going to do over 500 yards in receiving and rushing. I think we can all agree on that. I'm going to put one of them out there where he's actually going to do over 1,000 yards with one of those. So over 15 plus total all-purpose yards.
I mean, I see that. I think it's more like 2,000 with punt returning, kick returning.
Yeah,
I think he'll be.
Well, if you remove that, but yeah, if you put that in there, easy. Yeah.
I mean, talk about excitement. For me, it's going to be the run game. I love the run game. I love that old school smash mouth football where it's not just not score at will. It's time control. It's flipping the field. And
that's Jimbo.
Yeah, and I want to see. I hope I say Spiller's going to be. I think he'll have a little less yards this year because I think A-Chain's going to get a lot more love in that backfield. But I think it'll be. I'm going to go on there and say two 800-yard rushers. I think it's going to be a heck of a season, and that's what I'm excited to see. Is let's just keep running it down people's throat.
Oh man, as long as our O-line can put something together, that foundation, I'm fully on board with that. Both of those guys can run the heck out of the ball. As long as we can make some holes for them. I mean,
as long as we're passing the ball, you get all your receivers back. The passing opens up the running opens up the passing. That's a win-win, but super excited about that.
Now that you open my eyes to that, I can see too.
That's what I tend to do. I open eyes. That's what they say. Hey, guys, we are the Gig 'em guys. We appreciate y'all tuning in this week. This comes every Saturday at 10 a.m. on YouTube unless we have something more important to do, like be with our wives and work and just can't make it. But we appreciate y'all tuning in. Please, if you are following us on Facebook or anything like that, go over to YouTube and subscribe. I want to give a shout out. Thank you to Sam being here, making sure that the lighting and everything is good in recording. Thank you, Al, for being in. And Dustin, I thank you for that long 1 mile drive that you make for filming days. Other than that, we're the Gig 'em guys. I'm Josh. I'm Dustin from here in Cypress, Texas. We'll see you next time. Gig 'em.